YouTube, and welcome to the first video of RVing with a Keystone Passport 2670 BH by Salt of the Earth. My name is Fabio. You've probably seen my blog online with Timmy Traveler and the family, but that's us, and we are traveling full-time in our 2017 Keystone Passport 2670 BH. Now, every now and then, what's going to happen is, even though that you're on the road, just as when we had sticks and bricks, we have things that we have to fix. So, that being said, we're having some issues with our water pump. I've already replaced it once. It seemed like the check valve was getting stuck. So I contacted the pump company, which was Flojet. You can find them at www.flojet.com. And there's their contact telephone number there, and they'll get you down to an actual technician who walked me through the process of disassembling the water pump in order to clean out the check valve. And once that was done, it was suggested that we add a strainer, an additional inline strainer, to catch any sediment or anything that might get into the pump and cause a problem. Now, these aren't typically installed with OEM equipment, so what I had to do is go online and find one. Actually, when I did that, as a result of the recommendation from Flojet. So give me a second and we can go ahead and get some of that additional information. Be right back. Today we are going to be installing a Flojet premium strainer in line with our water pump. This is a strainer. As you can see, you have a connection here that with the pumps that come standard with these Keystone 2670 BHs, it's just a plug and play. There's an actual connector that you just pull free. You'll have to remove the end off the water line, install that on the barbed end here, and then this part just goes into the side of the water pump. So let's take a look at the situation that we have. Trying to get a good picture here for y'all. This water line right here, the one what you see with the connection end here, this is your city water. So the city water comes in and it'll connect to a T. As you see the blue line there, that is what charges the rest of the house when you're hooked up to city water. Now with the T split, part of it is going back into the water pump. Now, on the other side, this is your intake side from the freshwater tank, this line right here. Every time you fill up for fresh water to go on the road, it goes into this larger diameter hose. However, there's no strainer on that line going into the water tank. So unfortunately, as clean as our water may be at the location you're at, undoubtedly you're going to pick up sediment from time to time. You also have issues with water that have high calcium content or high salt content. These are solids that over time will get in the tank and they'll settle to the bottom. Well, when you're using your pump, again, in boondocking situations, then what occurs is it's drawing water, and it'll, from time to time, those sediments get disrupted and they'll come into the water pump. And they'll do so coming in through the intake line right here, down here at the bottom, that goes into the water pump itself. When that happens, that sediment can become lodged in the check valve, and it'll keep that valve open just a tiny bit so that when you try to charge the system with city water, it doesn't seal properly, and then you have water backing back from the city. Instead of going right into your rig system to charge, it starts to actually fill up the fresh water tank. And the reason you find that out is you hear the venting through the vent tube right here. You'll hear the noise and the splish splash. So today we're going to go ahead and get that installed so that we can fix that problem, because with the additional strainer we should get cleaner water and help the life of our water pump. We'll be right back and we'll go ahead and show you what we need to do and how we're going to do it. Welcome back to this episode of Salt of the Earth, in which we are going to be installing a premium pump strainer manufactured by Flojet. Now this particular model is a 1/2 inch. As we can see here, you have the section, the part that actually goes into the pump, and the barb connection that your intake water hose is connected to. So let's take a moment to walk over to see where the pump is located on our rig. And here we will find it. Here is the water pump. And as I'm turning the screen here, I do apologize, not trying to get anybody dizzy. But what you can see is this is your fill up line, okay? So when you are filling up your water tank to go boondocking, then this is the connection where the water just goes into the fresh water tank. Here is your city connector. Now the problem that we had with the original pump that came with the trailer is after about 8 months, we went to go ahead and fill, set up for city water. Well, as it comes in, there is a T right here. When the check valve is functioning, any water that tries to go into the pump, the check valve stops, and then it will pressurize the rest of the system. And I know it's a little hard to see, but there is a blue water line, and that blue water line feeds the entire system in the trailer. Now, what happens is when sediment gets stuck inside the check valve, which actually is affected from anything that gets sitting at the bottom of the freshwater tank, that will come up through the freshwater intake line, which is actually this line right here that comes into the pump. So when you're trying to fill with city water, it comes in, goes to the T. From the T, the water is supposed to pressurize the line, but if something is caught on the inside of this pump on the intake side, then water will backflow back into the pump, into the fresh water tank, and then you'll start having additional water coming out the vent tube here, okay? So it's very important to make sure that you have everything working properly. So let's take a little bit of a break while I get everything set up so we can go ahead and install that strainer. Just going to go over some of the simple things we need to get this project rolling and completed. You're going to need one Flojet strainer. Now there are other manufacturers out there, but since this is a Flojet pump and I talked to the Flojet tech, I went ahead and used the Flojet. Now the one that I'm actually using is, let's see here, get the little flash out of the way. Yeah, it is the second one from the top, which is actually, let me double check here. Actually, no, it's the second one from the bottom. It is strainer inlet 01740-012A. It is a 1/2 inch HB by quad 90. So that's basically telling you it's a 1/2 inch connection right here, but you have a 90-degree, it's a 90-degree turn. Now, what I need to get started, I needed 2 screwdrivers. One was a Phillips in order to get the screws off of the top part that sits right there normally. It's got 4 screws. I've been in here before, so I left 2 of them out to make it easier to get back in, and then I just secure the 2 over here on the left side. You also need a flathead screwdriver so that you can loosen up the little strap that's on the 1/2 inch hose. So let's take a look, let's get in here and get to work. So I did grab a towel because, you know, there's always going to be some type of leak, and you don't want that water just sitting out there. Wind and water don't play together. This is the connector that you want to go ahead and release. So just squeeze and pull out, and this connector comes right out just like that. And like I said, you need to have a towel because you want to soak up any excess water and don't want to get any water damage down here. Now I didn't have to disconnect power because I'm not doing anything with the electrical lines. If some people, if you want to be sure, that's fine. But like I said, we're not doing anything with electrical, so no need to actually cut the trailer from power. All right, now that we have that part done, we go ahead and get our flathead screwdriver. And we loosen up. And we loosen up our connection over here. And like the old nursery rhyme, lefty loosey, righty tighty, in order to get this little strap to come loose. And then it's simply getting this to come out. Which, as you can see, is easier said than done. So I'm gonna pause the video for a moment so I can get this loose and then be right back. YouTubers just got back. What I ended up having to do is just simply work the hose left and right. No need to cut into the hose, and gotta make sure I don't lose this little clip here, little strap. It's trying to hide, it's trying to escape down into the basement area, so that wouldn't be any good. Don't need to chase another one down. So that being said, we're going to take our strainer right here. Now the advantage of this is once you have it connected, even though it is going to be sitting in this direction, because it's so easy to just unhook the switch, in order to release it, you'll be able to turn it and take it out to clean it. Now the strainer itself, it's got a top on it that you twist off just like this, and it has a strainer inside, so it'll catch all that sediment or dirt or dust that could possibly cause damage inside your water pump. So it'll help keep it running longer, and it just fewer problems. So once we have everything back and tight, you don't have to over tighten it, you don't want to break it. You go ahead and take your barb connection and put it into your hose. And since the hose has already been stretched out there a little bit, it makes it a little easier. And we take our flathead screwdriver, and again, we're going back to righty tighty, lefty loosey. I know it sounds silly, but there's lots of times where you try to get things done and you totally forget which way to tighten or loosen. Now, the last part, it almost seems as if it's the hardest, but not at all, is getting our connection in here, which is as simple as popping it in and closing the lock. It is now secure, and what we're going to do is go ahead and get the water turned on. So give me just a moment. I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. My lovely wife was kind enough to go outside and get the water turned on. So we are about to see how this is going to work. Making sure I don't have any leaks, which looks good. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and turn. Oh hell, that looks like just some air is coming out. Oh, we have a faucet that's open. Will you turn that faucet off, please, here? Thank you. All right, so we had a faucet open. However, you don't hear any air coming out. So that means we have a good seal. So now the next thing we want to do, because making sure that the check valve is working the way it's supposed to, now we need to turn the city water off and run the water pump so we can see this strainer in action. So give me a moment. I'll go ahead and get that done. I'll be right back. Welcome back, YouTubers. We are now going to go ahead and turn on our water pump and see how our strainer works.
Mommy, turn on the water pump.
No, Junior, the water pump is right there, son. Press the button. Did you switch the water pump on?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and open the cold water on the sink. And as you can see here, we have the strainer filling up with water. And it is doing its job. So son, go ahead and turn the water off. Now, just double checking, I'm gonna put my hand underneath. There's nothing leaking here. The water that you see down there is what I was cleaning up when I first disconnected the hose. So we're gonna just run it one more time so that you can see it in action. And son, go ahead and turn the water on again, please.
Okay.
And go ahead and turn it off. All right, so YouTubers, that is how we go ahead and install a premium strainer with your Flojet water pump. And the water pump that we have been working with is model 03526144. It is a standard 12-volt pump that comes with the trailers here. And so it's not a difficult job to do. It is something that probably most of us should be doing and haven't. But it will definitely lengthen the life of your water pump and keep it working the way it should. So thank you again for watching this video from Salt of the Earth. If you want to follow us, just look down and hit like. You may want to also, you can subscribe to our videos. Lovely daughter here, just saying hello. Say hello, Carolyn.
Hello.
So we are finishing up here. Just again, we installed a Flojet inlet strainer, and it is part number 01740-012A. It's a 1/2 inch by quad 90. That's what it says on the paperwork right here. And in addition, on the back, you have additional information to help you out to figure out what you're needing. All right. Flojet is, you can go to the website, and the website is www.flojet.com, and you can go into the contact information. Now you can follow us at www.7csofetx.com. That's 7 C's of East Texas. And you can also find us on Facebook or Instagram at 7CS of ETX. So if you like this video, hit like, subscribe. I'm going to try to do as many of these as we can as we have issues that come up, because it is very important. There are lots of people who want it full time and sometimes get a little intimidated about trying to do some repairs or improvements on your own. We are looking at getting a generator, and so right now we don't know what generator we're looking at, but I'm thinking we're probably siding with a dual fuel system, simply because I would prefer to have something as a backup, that in case there's an issue, can't get gas, that I can use propane and vice versa. So stay tuned for that. And again, when something comes up to fix, I'm going to go ahead and make a video, and hopefully I'll be able to help someone else out. And if you do the same, go ahead and pass it forward. So from the website, Timmy Traveler out. Have a great day.